the one good thing that came out of my college experience is I think I understand everything about the political philosophy of liberalism now. The liberal is concerned with the individual. However, they took issue with my interpretation of liberalism, which is to understand the individual rather than simply tolerate the individual. I could tell how visibly frustrated Judicial Affairs was when I brought this up during the hearing with the committee, how frustrated the committee was, which, by the way, wasn't appointed by outsiders. It was appointed by the fellow faculty members. It was clearly a kangaroo court. Everything was done internally. There wasn't. The purpose of appointing outsiders was to have some level of impartiality for the student that wasn't provided. I think I do have ground for an appeal, but it's through the same college as well, so I have my doubts. I did file an appeal, though, so it couldn't hurt. Anyway, back to liberalism. The good news is I have developed a better understanding of liberalism. I mean, if liberalism revolves around the individual, then I consider myself a liberal. I mean, I'm all about individual action. The very essence of my existence is for liberal action. So I'm a liberal in that sense, but I'm a liberal in the sense that I want the individual to understand himself and others and everything around him, rather than simply tolerate. I mean, it's done from what they see. The college is an instrument of queerism. It's an extension of the labor market, and an extension or an instrument of the labor market. They don't see themselves as a place of learning, unfortunately. They see academic integrity as a way to enforce the assignments, and a way to enforce the integrity of the assignment rather than the integrity of the curriculum that the assignments are based on. And that was the nexus of all disagreements and eventually led to my downfall. I have no regrets about the thesis of my speech. I believe I was in the right. I still do. I mean, I did explain how my logic was in accordance with the student handbook, in accordance with college equity, equal access to political affiliation, to understand various political affiliations, to guarantee that equal access, to guarantee the needed educational opportunities for personal goals, which is why we're there at the place of learning. People don't go to college to get a job. People go to college to learn. They already have a job. I mean, yes, I mean, that's probably the end result within our current economy, but college itself is a place of learning. The professor is an employer. The professor is a professor. The professor is a teacher. His responsibility to teach his students. If he can't do that, then in my view, that's ground for dismissal. That's academic dishonesty. Of course, they don't see it academic dishonesty, because they see academic dishonesty as cheating on your assignments or failing to comprehend the questions of the assignments or what the assignment is based on, because that's the test to see if you understand the lesson. But what about the lesson itself? I mean, of course, I mean, if you want to understand the lesson, then that stems from individual engagement. What does the individual have to offer to the lesson? I mean, that's what we're trying to introduce in the class. And I think for the most part I was successful. I have no regrets on that front. I have no regrets. But I do understand it. Well, I do have a better understanding of liberalism now, how the liberal sees himself. And no wonder he's so objectionable to socialism. He sees the socialist as so objectionable, because the socialist is about understanding the individual within his social environment. And of course, the liberal has no sense of social consciousness. The liberal only has a sense of self-consciousness about who he is in the present moment, rather than what he could be. And that's what the socialist is about, all about the intuition rather than the sensing. So at least college had developed my understanding of liberalism to a very high degree.